Aloha, everyone. Today, let's talk about expectations. Expectations are something that we want to think about. Why? Have you ever felt crushed by something that didn't turn out the way you expected? Have you ever thought, this wasn't supposed to happen? How about you're looking at that wreckage and you're going, why me? Instead, let's talk about it because I've been there too. I will tell you that what I've learned is whether you react or respond with wisdom to your unmet expectations may be the most important daily choices you make in life. Let me talk about why that's so important and why you want to listen to the rest. At the end, I'll provide you a method, my acronyms, to help keep you on task to use that wisdom. Let me take you back. When I graduated from West Point, I thought I'd found true love. I had so much that I was looking forward to. And that first marriage, how long did it last? It lasted really 6 months, but it took 2.5 years to get the divorce at that time. I will just tell you, without going into the gory details, because some of you may want those, realize that when those events happened, I think I lost 7 pounds in 1 week. Not a recommended way to lose weight. I don't know if you've had to go through divorce, but it can be, even if it's done smoothly, it can be incredibly, incredibly painful. And if there's anything going on that led to that, and you're surprised by that, you're thinking, well, maybe it's not perfect, but it's going okay. Then all of a sudden, boom, the door gets slammed in your face. That's kind of what it was for me. I was pretty much taken back. I think that after we've married our first time, if it doesn't work out, it's almost like the bubble burst, doesn't it? Doesn't it feel that way for those of you who've been divorced? It's like you have these ideals. Well, we're not living in magic land anymore. It definitely wasn't what I planned on. Let's talk about what happened next. What happened next was I thought I'd found it again. I opened my heart up. I said, okay, let's do it. I got married. I have a gorgeous daughter. Many of you know her. Talented, brilliant in so many ways. It took longer for stressful, challenging actions to happen in that marriage, like having my daughter and almost dying myself from giving birth to her because of things that went wrong with me, not with her, with me, and what happened after that. It still took years until I finally decided it was a very unhealthy environment. I needed to be separated. I had my daughter, so I had that to keep me going, but other things kicked in. Money issues. Some of you have faced that. Unmet expectations. I had a job. I was lucky. I had that job, the military. I didn't really think about money until I didn't have money after going through divorces. That cost a lot, making some poor choices there. I was negative net worth after that, in addition to being told that I was the problem, told that I was the failure. I smile now, but oh my gosh, it was like a sucker punch, doubly below the belt, kind of pulling you down. I was drained. I was facing custody issues, all those things. It wasn't what I expected. In fact, it was so far off what I expected. I want to talk about where I am today, which is far better and far different, which some of you know. Professionally, what did I have? Didn't know what I really wanted to do, but decided to go to West Point in that first class with women. So professionally, I was challenged professionally, intellectually, physically, mentally, emotionally, you name it, I was challenged. Even things I had easy in high school were not easy at West Point. Physical things were not easy. I expected, oh, I'll be able to do this. No. Some of you who went to West Point know that. It can be the difference between, for my husband, it was pointing his toes in gymnastics, learning how to do that. It was the difference between a 0 or a 1 to a 5, which is what we're trying to get graded on. There's things that you can learn to help you get through it, but you think it's not going to be so bad because I'm athletic, I can do it. Well, the first run, some of you have heard that story, that was anything but easy. Every run I was ready to, I did throw up oftentimes before the run. Professionally, once I got through West Point, then I was able to do the most amazing things in the military. Jump out of perfectly good airplanes, being put in charge of leadership jobs from the get-go as a young officer. And yet, what happened? You're thinking that's going to go, I'm going to learn, I'm going to do. I had some of the most toxic bosses at times. Not every time, but I got to tell you, I think I had on my hand 5 leaders who were really supportive and helpful and trained me. Now, the others trained me too, but it was a challenge every step of the way. I didn't think that was supposed to happen, not that way. I look at that personally, professionally. Okay, what's going on today? Well, today I live in my dream home. I live in Hawaii, Hilo. I love it. The people here are amazing. I married my best friend husband, Doug, as some of you know. We've been married 26 years, and it seems like yesterday. It keeps getting better. I always dreamed of that happening, but it wasn't happening. Why wasn't it happening? A whole lot of reasons. And many of them have to do with the tools that I've built up over the years to manage my life and to look at what's happening around me. Now, I have this cartoon that has a person above ground. Let's say this is a financial situation, kicking the dirt, and you can see 3-dimensionally underneath is this big filled treasure chest. But the person above it isn't paying attention, isn't looking at the tools that would be needed in order to get that, because the expectation is it's going to be handed to you. Financial success, love, professional success. It just isn't necessarily that way. Dealing with how to handle disappointment where you're thinking one thing's going to happen and something else happens. When we can respond with wisdom, we change our life course. We take it in such a different direction. Instead of giving up on your ideals and dreams like I might have done, well, I kind of did. I will tell you, in love department, some of you know, I said I'm never going out with another military guy, especially not a West Pointer, and most certainly not a classmate. My husband Doug is all 3 of those, but he also happens to be an amazing, amazing guy. It took a lot to break through, but if you know anything about neuroscience, I got exactly what I wanted. Because the mind, as Doug Krug, my friend, will tell me, the mind doesn't recognize those words. Never, can't, shouldn't, wouldn't, all those. So I did get exactly what I wanted. Being able to handle the painful experiences, painful unmet expectations, is something where we want to address, because those are those daily choices that we make. This is what I do. This is my 21st talk right now. I love to provide real tools, talk about situations. Perhaps some of those things have happened in your life. I can name any number of ways we make maybe 32 decisions each day, but if that's preceded by an unmet expectation, you're thinking something good's going to happen, it can ruin your whole day. You can be dragged down your whole day if you don't know how to deal with that. Let me give you a method, my acronym. Think of E.X.P.E.C.T. E.X.P.E.C.T. What's the E? This is a tool that will help keep you from reacting and helping you respond with wisdom when you suddenly are facing that. First, you want to evaluate those expectations that you have. When something isn't right and you go, ah, you can tell those negative emotions. We had a whole talk about vibration. If it's a negative emotion, you're looking at those expectations. If those negative emotions creep in, it's going to drag you down. It just will. And that's what you're going to give off to other people. Instead of getting what you want, you're going to potentially get exactly what you don't want. Evaluate those expectations. If they're wonderful expectations and you're happy, like I have my friend Tina who joined us, just being in her presence is a delight. She's keenly aware of people who are in a toxic place. I have not gotten to that level of sensitivity, but I am an empath and aware when people are not in a good place or very unhealthy. It's something I can help. I'm there. I'm there. But there are some people who have real issues that there's not enough time probably on the planet to help get them in that better direction. And sometimes you do have to steer clear. Very, very rarely. Most of the time, it's just people who are struggling, like you and me. Evaluate your expectations. X out those negative assumptions or blame. Have you ever sent somebody something or talked to somebody and you expected them to come back immediately and tell you something good, or even applying for a job and you're going to be told, oh, I got it, and you start going into this spiral doom zone, downward of, oh, they don't like me, or they're upset with me, or they don't care about me. Those are all negative assumptions. And what they say is 95 to 99% of them are absolutely untrue. But in our head, they're very much alive. They feel real. And our body doesn't know any different because those are our thoughts. So X out any negative assumptions or blame because it's unhealthy, unhelpful. P in the EXPECT acronym, pause and breathe deeply. Breathe deeply before responding. Do that because that will quell that anxiety that you might have inside you to deal with whatever it is. You want to think clearly. If you're not pausing when you start spiraling in that negative direction, what happens is your wisdom gets hijacked. You go into survival mode. You want to react. You feel you're under threat. You're in that survival mode. But if you pause and you breathe deeply, we've gone through some lessons already about special ways. I like the waterfall method, which you can check out. If you do that, then you will respond with your wisdom instead of reacting with survival mode thinking, being angry, being upset, wanting to run away, to shut down. Those are all survival mode reactions, not responding with wisdom. So if you pause and breathe deeply, you can respond better. E is explore better possibilities. Maybe you had to learn this lesson. Sometimes if I didn't learn the lesson the first time, I have to learn it again. I think with marriage, I didn't really take a hard look from the first time to make sure I knew what I was really wanting. There are some people who will camouflage and be something you want. Maybe you remember the movie where she kept changing her personality for the people she was with. Many women, I will generalize, are pleasers. We want to please. Runaway Bride with Julia Roberts. She kept morphing into something until she finally figured out who she was. You want to explore better possibilities. The next one, the C, is choose a positive focus. Combine those two, explore better possibilities, and then the next step is choose that positive focus. I didn't give up when I started working on content like I'm sharing with you today, which has been a 13-year journey of doing it as a business. Initially, I just kept wanting, can I please have an assistant? Can I please have someone helping me? Well, lo and behold, ChatGPT popped out there, and now I'm able to do far more. Other trainers I used before weren't helpful. Trainers came in, Mark Harbert and Eddie Villa and others who have helped me along the way. They came out, and now I can put together things that I wanted. I wanted really a lot. I find that in my life, I just have to be patient. Positive focus sometimes may be, hey, just be patient. It's coming. But if you don't dream it, it will never happen. As Mary Morrissey says, you got to dream it. Make sure that you've got something set in your mind and just have confidence and faith that it's going to appear, but you have to be looking for it. Remember that kicking the dirt in the treasure chest down below? It may not look like what you think. So choose a positive focus and chances are that possibility will show up. The final, the T, is take inspired action. Take inspired action. If you come from a positive place and a positive focus, those inspired actions will happen. Having the courage to be in front of you today and talking about these subjects and about myself can be very, very difficult for most people. It's not easy for me, but I feel very affirmed when I go to public events and people come to me and they say, I love what you're doing. You may not be on the internet, you may not want to comment. Like Tina today was very brave and she wrote a comment for me. Thank you so much. If you're not doing it, do me this one favor. Do this because it's going to help. It's really going to be a favor to you. Sign up for my stress intelligence channel. I want you to have these tools available to you so that you can make better choices each and every day. Because the worst thing that may have happened to you might just be leading you to the best thing that's ever going to happen to you. Trust that journey, but take the wheel. Manage those expectations. I'm Colonel Deb, and I'm going to keep talking about things that really matter. Aloha.